A boy. I've just heard.
Yes.
Well done. Where are you going?
She wants to see him.
Now?
In all of King's Landing, is there no one to take my side?
The realm. Do you know what the realm is? It's the 1,000 blades of Aegon's enemies. A story we agreed to tell each other over and over till we forget that it's a lie.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back for another Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon update video. In this video, we will be looking at all of the new official photos from this Sunday's episode of House of the Dragon. Over the last few days, HBO has released a number of new videos and photos that give us a glimpse of what will be happening in this next episode. As you all know, this new episode will have many new actors since we are now jumping ahead roughly a decade into the story. One of the major differences from the last episode is Daemon Targaryen is now married to Lady Laena Velaryon. We saw Daemon and Lady Laena on the dance floor during Rhaenyra and Sir Lenor's wedding. Not only is Daemon now married again, but he's also a father now as well. Lady Laena Velaryon and Daemon will now have twin daughters named Baela and Rhaenyra Targaryen. There's a number of different new high-definition photos of their family. Another thing some of you might not know is Daemon will no longer be living in Westeros either. Him and his new family will be living over in Essos, or Pentos to be exact. While they're there, they will be living inside the Magister's manse right outside of the city walls. In George R. R. Martin's novel, we learn the main reason why Daemon and his family leave Westeros for Essos is because Daemon knows his brother Viserys would not be happy with the fact that he got remarried. After Daemon had several victories in the Stepstones, which we saw in the earlier episode, they now see him as an ally who they might need again. Daemon and his wife Lady Laena Velaryon don't always like staying in one location either. We might see them flying to different locations over in Essos, but as soon as they learn she will be having another baby, they will eventually go back to Pentos. If they do follow George R. R. Martin's novel, Daemon and Lady Laena will stay there for another half a year before heading back to his wife's home on Driftmark. Another very noticeable difference from last week's episode will be the introduction of Rhaenyra's sons. They are Jacaerys, Lucerys, and Joffrey Velaryon. Like I said in my last video, one of the major conflicts in this new episode will be the legitimacy of her sons. It's not going to be hard to see that Rhaenyra's sons were not fathered by her husband Sir Lenor Velaryon. As you can see, a much older actor will be stepping in for this character as well. Now, as you can imagine, one of the main reasons why Rhaenyra's illegitimate sons make Allison so angry is the fact that they are in the line of succession before her own sons, Aegon and Amon. Now, since Rhaenyra's sons do have her husband's Velaryon name, they're actually legitimate until someone brings forward some evidence saying otherwise. As of right now, the line of succession goes Rhaenyra, then her sons Jacaerys, Lucerys, and then Joffrey. Whenever Rhaenyra has a new son, it leaves Allison's sons Aegon and Amon further and further down the line behind them. This has to be making her furious, considering the fact that she knows they're bastards. Rhaenyra and Allison's growing hatred for each other will fall onto their sons as well. We get a glimpse of this in the new photos and videos also. Here, we see Allison's sons in the yard sword fighting with Rhaenyra's sons, while Sir Criston and Sir Harwin watch over them. This must be very awkward for Sir Criston Cole and Sir Harwin, considering how we all know Sir Criston wanted to run away with Rhaenyra. Not only did she decline his offer, but she began having all of these sons by someone else. It will become very obvious that Sir Harwin fathered these children, instead of Rhaenyra's actual husband, Sir Lenor Velaryon. Now that Sir Criston Cole is in the service of Alicent Hightower, he will most likely help her expose the scandal. This might have something to do with why we see Sir Criston and Sir Harwin fighting each other in the video. One of them most likely said something to the other, leading to this fight in the yard. It will only further divide the sides of the Blacks and the Greens even more. Now, in a few of these other photos, we also see Viserys and Alicent's second-born son, Amon Targaryen. It looks like this is him shortly after he tried to mount the dragon Dreamfire. We've also seen glimpses of that in HBO's official video. In the next photo, it does look like his mother Alicent might be giving him some words of encouragement. Amon will not be able to mount the dragon Dreamfire, but he will end up getting something much better. Now, if you have seen some of HBO's other photos and videos, then you know Amon will eventually lose his eye during a fight with Rhaenyra's sons. Afterwards, he will be known as Amon One-Eye Targaryen, and I'm really looking forward to seeing this older version of Amon. I have a feeling he will be one of my favorites from the show. In another photo, Allison is also seen with her daughter, Rhaenyra Targaryen. Now, before I do go, I also want to let you hear my video I made about Rhaenyra and Lenor's wedding. I actually did upload this video already, but after it was flagged, I did take it back down to fix it. After a few days went by, I thought about just deleting the video, but since I did work on it for an entire day, I don't want to throw it away after all of that work. So I thought I would just shove it in here at the end of this video so some of you can still see it if you're interested in my thoughts on the wedding. Let me know what you thought about everything down below. Now let's get into the next video. Now, this wedding was actually set in motion in the last episode when Rhaenyra's father, Viserys, no longer gave her the option of finding her own husband. After allegations were made about Rhaenyra and Daemon's incestuous relationship, Viserys figured he better find his daughter a husband soon. Otherwise, she might not only ruin her name, but also the likelihood of her finding a worthy suitor. Although Viserys was very angry with his daughter, this did work out for him because now he could find her a good husband himself, and since he decided on Sir Lenor Velaryon, this would also resurrect his relationship with the Sea Snake. Not only is he incredibly wealthy, but he also has the largest fleet Westeros has ever seen. Not to mention, the Sea Snake also has dragons on his side. Rhaenyra's future husband, Sir Lenor, rides on the dragon Sea Smoke, the same one who defended Daemon during his battle against the Crab Feeder. The Sea Snake's wife, Rhaenys Targaryen, rides on the dragon Meleys, and their daughter, Lady Laena Velaryon, now has the largest living dragon in Westeros, the massive she-dragon Vhagar. So as you can see, House Velaryon is someone Viserys will want on his side. Having his daughter Rhaenyra marry Sir Lenor was the best available option. Now, Viserys wasn't the only one who would benefit from this marriage alliance either. The fact that Sir Lenor is a gay man also allows for him and Rhaenyra to still do their own thing. After meeting before the wedding ceremony, Rhaenyra and Sir Lenor made a deal with one another. They agreed that they would marry each other for the alliance, but they would still have their own fun outside of the marriage, allowing themselves to find love elsewhere. So, with all of that being said, how could any of this go wrong? Well, on the day the wedding celebrations began, it opened up with the welcoming feast. It started with us seeing some of the major houses of Westeros entering the Great Hall of the Red Keep. One of the very first things we immediately notice is Allison Hightower was absent from this ceremony. It does make me wonder, why was Allison so late to the feast? As we all know, in the last episode, her father gave her advice about what to do after he was gone. He reminded her that Viserys will die soon, and when he does, she must have Aegon ready for the Iron Throne, otherwise, they will never actually be safe so long as Rhaenyra sees them as a threat to her inheritance. So far, we have seen Allison stand by Rhaenyra's side, but after she found out her best friend lied right to her face, it changed everything. It now seems Allison is open to the idea of having her son Aegon sit on the Iron Throne, regardless if Rhaenyra still is her father's heir. While Allison was absent from the wedding feast, I couldn't help but wonder if she was making arrangements for her and her son's future. We will see Allison has a whole new vibe once she enters the Great Hall. Now, before we get into all of that, House Velaryon makes one hell of an entrance into the Great Hall themselves. Their swagger is felt throughout as every eye in the entire hall directs its gaze onto them. I mean, after all, Sir Lenor Velaryon is the man of the hour. Sir Criston Cole watches from afar. The man looks as if he has a Valyrian steel dagger shoved in his heart. We then see Daemon Targaryen roll up in there with the swagger of 1,000 Oberyn Martells. This isn't even his wedding, and we're not even sure if he was actually invited, yet he walks into the Great Hall as if he owns the joint. Viserys is visibly upset. He must be wondering if Daemon murdered his wife so he could come right back to the city. Now, Viserys absolutely wants to say something to Daemon, but he also doesn't want to make a scene in front of everyone and ruin the wedding. Remember, Viserys does worry about what everyone else thinks. So, he begrudgingly has someone grab Daemon a seat at the high table. Once again, Daemon does get his welcome home, but this time, it's not with open arms. The big-ass smile on Daemon's face says, "I know you don't want me here, but everyone in this great hall knows you won't say a damn thing about it either." Then we see the honor of House Velaryon begin. Viserys is right in the middle of giving this amazing speech when it's suddenly interrupted by his wonderful, loving wife, Allison Hightower. Now, I must say, Alicent's arrival was very reminiscent of Cersei Lannister's coronation. Allison was without a doubt making a statement. For one, she shows up in her green dress, making it known to everyone in the room she stands with her own House Hightower. Remember, she was always seen wearing the red and black of House Targaryen after she married Viserys. After feeling betrayed by her best friend Rhaenyra, and given the advice of her father Ser Otto, Allison has now officially severed ties from House Targaryen. The look on Viserys' face says it all. He felt slighted once again, yet, like with Daemon's arrival, he's not going to make an ass out of himself in front of all the watchful and judgmental eyes in the room. Now, before she reaches the dais, Allison flashes a look her family's way, letting them know her allegiance is with them. Now, what we hear Lara Strong say might have been a little heavy-handed.
The beacon on the high tower. Do you know what color it glows when Old Town calls its banners to war?
Green.
I don't think they needed him to say this to the audience. I think it was already understood, but maybe that's only me. Everyone there feels a noticeable difference with Allison once she reaches the high table. Viserys and even Rhaenyra look unsettled by this shift in Allison's behavior. The days of Allison having faith in her king and husband, as well as her friend and stepdaughter, are now gone. It makes for a wonderful scene. Let the games begin, ladies and gentlemen. We barely see the end of the bride's first dance when Allison suddenly and abruptly leaves her seat. She doesn't look at Viserys and say, "Excuse me." She does it anyway. The new Hand of the King, and even the Sea Snake notice and watch in silence as she leaves. It's very obvious Allison is feeling some type of way. We then see her walk over to be with her family. She's reminded that Old Town does stand with her, and this is the first time we've seen her smile all night. It lets us know that it's her family that does make her feel happy and welcome. Then, Daemon is suddenly ambushed by Sir Gerald Royce of Runestone. He's there to make sure that Daemon is held accountable for his wife's sudden death. As you can imagine, Daemon doesn't find this amusing or interesting to say the least. His wife is already a fleeting memory he wishes to forget. Sir Gerald is a bold man, by making accusations against the king's brother right in the middle of his daughter's wedding ceremony. If it were up to Daemon, I'm not sure that Sir Gerald would make it out of the city alive. On the other hand, however, Daemon was glad he was there. It was a good opportunity for Daemon to discuss his inheritance. Since Lady Royce was his wife and they had no heirs, Daemon stands to inherit all of Runestone, something he does intend to receive after the 7 days of wedding festivities. In the following episode, we should see Daemon arrive on his dragon Caraxes, ready to gain his new fortunes. My guess is, House Royce will not hand over everything to Daemon so easily, but we shall see. Daemon then sets his sights on Lady Laena Velaryon, the daughter of the Sea Snake and Rhaenys. As Daemon is finding himself a new wife, we also see Joffrey Loudmouth decipher the look on Sir Criston Cole's face. He believes he knows why Sir Criston can't take his eyes off the new bride. He also thinks he can use that information against Rhaenyra if she were ever to say anything about Sir Lenor and Joffrey's relationship. Well, Joffrey's interest in Sir Criston's love life will come back to bite him in the ass later on. He immediately goes up to Sir Criston and reveals he knows about his dirty little secret. Not only that, but he even threatens him with the information. As this is happening, we see the real reason why Daemon went onto the dance floor. He eventually finds his way over to Rhaenyra, who was dancing with Sir Harwin. Now this is interesting because we will see Rhaenyra and Sir Harwin's relationship go to the next level very soon. This innocent dancing sets in motion events that will lead to all kinds of issues with Rhaenyra's rights to the Iron Throne. As soon as Daemon has Rhaenyra alone, he lets her know her future with Sir Lenor will not be a fun one. Although Lenor is a good man and a fine knight, he won't make for a great husband. That's when Rhaenyra calls his bluff. She says, "If you really want me, then take me to Dragonstone now and make me your wife. If you really want me that bad, don't let anything get in your way." I do wonder, did Rhaenyra actually want him to do this, or was she only saying it out of anger? Now, before Daemon's able to answer, the dancing suddenly stops as everyone gathers around Sir Criston Cole, who's gone full Gregor Clegane on Laenor's lover, Joffrey Loudmouth. Well, Joffrey certainly won't be making any more threats to Sir Criston Cole, that's for sure. He literally beat this man to death, giving us those Red Wedding vibes. Now, you have to wonder, was he justified? Did Joffrey actually deserve this based on what he had done or said? I actually don't think so. Now, he did make threats, sure, but I still don't think that gives a Kingsguard member the right to execute him like this, especially in the middle of Rhaenyra's wedding celebrations. Although I did not like Joffrey, and I'm not even mad at Sir Criston for doing it, I still think he went over the line either way. Now, don't get me wrong, it made for one hell of a scene. Viserys is so upset with what happened, he has Rhaenyra and Lenor get married anyway right away. The 7 days of celebrating this wonderful union are now over. The marriage and alliance must move forward. Right there, in the middle of the Bloody Hall, Rhaenyra and Lenor join houses. Then, in what might be the worst scene of the episode, Sir Criston goes outside to the Godswood with his dagger in hand, ready to end it all. Before anything happens, Allison does stop him before he's able to go through with it. Now, although we don't see it, this is when Allison will have Sir Criston join her service. Now he will be her guard moving forward. This is going to sever their relationship with Rhaenyra even more. We have seen this in other official photos and videos from HBO. After this, Allison and Sir Criston Cole will join forces against Rhaenyra. They will never look at her the same again. As Rhaenyra and Sir Lenor wed in the Great Hall, Viserys collapses onto the floor. It's as if this day wasn't bad enough. Everyone is reminded of the fact that Viserys' health is failing. Although it does seem like he's been dying since the very first episode, he will somehow hang on for another decade as his body continues to decompose right before our very eyes. Now, in the final shot of this episode, we see a rat emerge onto the blood-soaked floor. This is foreshadowing an event that involves characters known as Blood and Cheese. Now, as much as I want to go into what that event is all about, I don't want to ruin it for you either. Let's just say when that scene finally does happen, it will go down as one of the moments the show will be remembered for. I will leave it at that for now. Like I was saying at the beginning of this video, what happened at the wedding will have an effect on every individual who was there. It set in motion so many things, like Allison and Sir Criston joining forces, Daemon marrying Lady Olenna, Rhaenyra and Sir Harwin, and so much more. If you haven't seen my last video about the episode 6 trailer, that video will show you some of the aftermath from this wedding. I would highly recommend watching that as well. Now, hopefully most of you are subscribed already because you will be the first to know whenever I release the rest of my videos this week. I still have several more videos heading your way before the next episode airs. Let me know what all of you thought about this wedding down below. So many different things were happening, so I'm interested in hearing what you have to say about them. As always, I want to thank all of you for watching this video. I hope you all have a great day. I will see you again very soon. Bye.